Let us continue with chapter 3, demand. As we have already studied the explanation of law of demand, the inverse relationship has two reasons: income effect and substitution effect. We have learned the law of demand, which says that if price of goods falls, its demand expands or demand increases, and if price of good rises, its demand contracts or its demand decreases. But now we are learning about the exceptions to the law of demand, where certain commodities are there which are put up in the exceptionals list. So first is our prestigious goods. Prestigious goods are like expensive jewelry, expensive car, expensive mobile, etc. Here, even the goods price increases, the demand also increases, because by the rich consider it as a status symbol. So when the price increases, the demand increases, and if the price falls, the rich may contract their demand or demand decreases, thinking that the good is losing its prestige. Second is extremely low priced goods. For example, matchbox, pins, salt, etc. The entire consumption expenditure on such goods form a very small proportion of the consumer's income. If their price rises, a consumer's demand for these goods may not contract, and if their price falls, the consumer may not expand the demand. Giffen goods. These goods are named after Robert Giffen, who made such observation. Giffen goods are necessary goods and are purchased by the low income group. When price of Giffen goods falls very low, the real income of consumer tends to increase. Hence, its demand is reduced by consumer and they purchase more of the superior goods. For example, a person who purchases jowar or bajra, when the price of jowar or bajra falls very low, the real income of the consumer increase. Here, he will reduce consumption of such goods and will purchase more of wheat, which is of superior goods. Special preference of people. Certain times consumer gets very accustomed and used to certain goods, like a particular brand of toothpaste. Even if the price of that toothpaste increases compared to other toothpaste, then also he will not change his demand. He will purchase that particular brand of toothpaste. So in the exceptions case, we learned that when price of a commodity falls, its demand contracts instead of expanding. And when the price of a commodity increases, its demand expands. Now, let us learn expansion and contraction of demand. When other determinants are assumed to remain constant and price is changing, then there is expansion and contraction of demand. Now, if price increases, demand decreases. This is known as contraction. If the price falls, demand increases. This is known as expansion of demand. Here we can see the demand is measured on x-axis and price is measured on y-axis. Let the initial price be 3 and the initial demand be 3 units. So that has been given as point A in the diagram. From there, we are showing how the price falls to rupees 1 and the demand expands to 5 units, which is shown at point C in the diagram. Now the movement from point A to point C on demand curve DD is called expansion of demand. Similarly, from the initial point A, if the price rises from 3 to 5, the demand contracts from 3 unit to 1 unit, which is shown at point B. The movement from point A to point B on the same demand curve DD is called contraction of demand. So we learned expansion and contraction of demand. Now we are going to learn increase and decrease in demand. The previous one, the other factors, there were no change, only the price was changing. Here, one factor or some other factor other than price is changing and price remains constant, then what happens? Now, there is an increase in demand which is caused by rightward shift of the demand curve. If this factor changes against the demand, then at the same price, demand decreases and so it shifts to left. Increase and decrease in demand is caused by determinants other than price. Again here in the graph, initial point is kept as 3, price 3, and your demand is also of 3 units. Now here what we learned, that price is stable. There's no change. Price is constant. There's no change in the price. So now D1 to D1, if you see where the initial point it has been marked. When price remains constant at 3, but one or some other factor changes in favor of demand, then it moves to right side D3, D3, where the demand increased to 5 unit. Similarly, because of some factors have changed, from D1, D1, we are shifting towards left D2, D2, that is, demand is decreasing from 3 unit to 1 unit. So, we reach to point B. So, there is increase or decrease in demand because of some other factors change. So, we move to left or right, whereas price is constant over here. In previous class, we had learned the diagram for law of demand, which is in your page number 23 of your textbook. If you apply the same over here, then it is easy for you. First is, here they are showing the price of a commodity which is decreasing and each individual's demand. There is Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C. Now these people also are demanding higher when the price is decreasing. As the price is decreasing, their demand is increasing. So individual graph is presented, how Mr. A is demanding, how Mr. B is demanding, and Mr. C is demanding. Now we have to see the market demand. Market demand is when you total up Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C at the same price, you get their total, and that total is your market demand. Now finally you have to make the demand curve that is for the market. So you get the market demand curve. Let us learn the price elasticity of demand. If other factors remain constant, the amount or ratio of change in the demand due to change in price is known as price elasticity of demand. So we say price elasticity of demand is equal to proportionate change in demand for commodity X upon proportionate change in price of commodity X. According to Professor Marshall, the degree of elasticity of demand depends upon the extent of rise in the demand because of a fall in price and upon the extent of fall in demand because of a rise in price. Now let us see the first point, perfectly elastic demand. When the consumer is ready to buy certain commodity at a particular price, but when there is a little increase in price and he is not willing to buy any commodity at all, it is called perfectly elastic demand, and its demand curve is parallel to the horizontal base, that is our x-axis. So you can see in the graph. So you can see the demand curve is parallel to x-axis, which shows that the demand changes with the price, that is OD. DD is the demand curve which is parallel to the x-axis. The price to the commodity is OD. The consumer are ready to buy certain amount of commodity at this price. So we can say it is an infinite. Second is perfectly inelastic demand. When there is change in the price of a commodity but there is no change in demand according to the equation, the answer would be 0. Such demand is called perfectly inelastic demand or zero elasticity. We can see here the demand remains the same even though there is a change in the price. So proportionate change in demand of commodity is 0%, and proportionate change in price of a commodity may be 5% or 10%, but when you divide 0% by 5%, you get the answer 0. So we say zero elasticity. Third is unitary elastic demand, that is equal to 1. When the percentage change in demand is proportionate to percentage change in price, it is called unitary elastic demand. For example, if price of a commodity falls by 5% and its demand goes up by 5%, that is, proportionate change of demand is plus 5% and proportionate change in price is minus 5%, because the price went down, so we put minus 5%. So plus 5 divided by minus 5, we get 1. So when proportionate change in demand and proportionate change in price are equal, then we call it as unitary elastic demand. In a diagram on the demand curve DD, when price falls by PP1 amount, demand which expands by M to M1 is exactly same as the price change. Next is relatively elastic demand, that is greater than 1. When the percentage change in demand is greater than the percentage change in price, then such demand is called relatively elastic demand. Here you can see the price is increasing a little bit from P1 to P, but the demand is decreasing in larger amount from M1 to M. If 30% demand has shifted from M1 to M and 10% price has increased, then we put up as a ratio as minus 30% divided by plus 10%, which is equal to 3. So we can say elastic demand as the change is 3. Relatively inelastic demand, which is less than 1. So here we can see in the diagram that the demand has shifted from M to M1. It is decreasing because the price has increased from P to P1. Proportionate change in demand, if it is minus 5% and proportionate change in price is plus 20%, because price has increased, so we put plus 20%. So we say minus 5 divided by plus 20, which is equal to minus 1 upon 4 or 0.25, which is lesser than 1. So relatively inelastic demand is less than 1. Let us learn the types or degrees of income elasticity of demand. There are three main types of income elasticity of demand. First is positive income elasticity of demand. When demand increases because the increase in income of a consumer, or demand decreases as there is a fall in income of a consumer, then such change in the demand is known as positive income elasticity of demand. There are three types. A, unit income elasticity demand, that is equal to 1. When change of demand and change of income are proportionately equal, then we call it as unit income elasticity or unitary income elasticity demand. Second is elasticity of demand greater than unit. So here it is greater than 1. So how it happens is, when the change in the demand is greater than the change in the income, then we get income elasticity of demand. So we say greater than unit. Now elasticity of demand less than unit, when the change in the demand is lesser than the change in income of a consumer, then we call it as income elasticity of demand, and this is lesser than unit. Second topic is negative income elastic demand. With the rise in income of a consumer, if demand decreases, or with the fall of income if demand increases, means your income is decreasing and you are demanding more, or your income is increasing and you are decreasing your demand. So this is a negative effect. So normally some types of inferior goods can create this type of negative income elasticity of demand. According to Robert Giffen, then such goods like bajra and all these what we said, there the negative income elastic take place. Third is zero income elastic demand. With the change in income of consumer, if demand of goods remains unchanged, then such demand is known as zero income elasticity of demand. For example, salt, pins, matchbox, all these things, even if your income increases, then also you are going to purchase the same amount. Even if your income is decreasing, you will purchase as much you need. There is no effect on it. So this is called zero income elastic demand. Let us learn about cross elasticity of demand. We know about the substitute goods and the complementary goods. So when the demand of concerned commodity changes in response to the change in price of its related goods, then the extent of such change in demand is called cross elasticity of demand. So cross elasticity of demand is equal to percentage change in demand of goods X, and that you are going to divide by percentage change in the price of goods Y. Methods of measuring elasticity of demand. There are three types: methods of proportionate change, total outlay method, and geometric method. As the law of demand expresses an inverse relationship between price and demand of a goods, but does not clearly specify the extent of change in demand, supposing if there is a 10% change in price. For this, we need a perfect method. So these methods we use for measuring elasticity of demand.